All right, the boys are out here in New York. Me and Juju Gotti, you know we had to pull up on family right here. Charles McDonald, senior writer for the NFL at large. I don't know why they gave you that title. I don't like it. They need you to just be senior writer. That's it.
That's right.
At large feels like you're on the run.
I am on the run. I'm always on the run.
I hit on the lamb. We done called him, y'all.
we found them.
We were on the lamb last night for sure.
Hey, for
man,
sure.
That there.
All right.
Salute to lambs.
What we like to do is talk to smart football people. Charles is one of the smartest football people we know. Let's take a look back. We're at the halfway point of the season. Let's take a look back, first 9-10 weeks, and then we'll look forward to the last couple weeks. What's been the biggest surprise from you, like from this NFL season?
Oh, man, I think you got to start off right where we are here in New York. Giants and the Jets coming out and, solidifying themselves as legit playoff contenders this year. Something I don't think a lot of people saw coming. I think it was probably more feasible with the Giants and the Jets because, I spent time for the Daily News covering the Giants and the Jets, and I thought the Giants were always this team that kind of underachieved based on the sum of their parts. Like, it's a sick Madden roster.
Yeah.
Sterling Shepard, Kenny Galladay, Saquon Barkley, Evan Ingram, all these guys they've had in the past, but it never really kind of came together. But this year, under Brian Dable, Saquon Barkley's back, Daniel Jones is having the best year of his career. It's all kind of starting to piece together, and here they are at 6-2. And I think with the Jets, being able to win with Zach Wilson playing how he's playing.
Playing at all?
yeah, playing at all, for lack of a better term.
Playing like ass.
Yeah, but that defense is fire. Sauce Gardner.
Sauce is crazy.
He's already one of the best cornerbacks in the league. So yeah.
What I was really surprised by was like the fact that Dable was able to do it with Josh Allen, right? Like we talk about he was inconsistent, inaccurate, a super raw talent, but then all of a sudden Dable, Kenny Dorsey put him together. Now he's an MVP candidate. And now you saw with Daniel Jones, they didn't pick up his option.
Right.
Everybody was like, this is not the guy. Like he's just a guy. He could play in the league somewhere, but he's not the guy that you're gonna bank on to be your franchise quarterback. And all of a sudden Dable came in. And Danny Dimes doesn't look that bad. I'm not going to say he looks great.
Right.
But I think they're utilizing him in a better space where his athletic prowess can show, where he can run a little bit more. What I'm surprised by is the fact that the Giants are doing it with basically no weapons. Like it's Saquon, and that's really it. They trade away Kadarius Toney. Like Sterling Shepard gets hurt. They have like Darius Slayton, Richie James. Like they don't have it. Kenny Dolly's a mannequin.
Yeah. I like Darius. I like Darius. I think he's got a little something to him.
He's sneaky.
But if that's your best receiver, like you're not. You need a little bit more coming. I think Kenny's going to be back this weekend, so we'll see. That's like sneakily been one of the worst free agent signings in NFL history.
They gave him, 64?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I think it was 4 for 72.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Stealing money.
School. We call that Reggie Miller. Kenny Galladay been playing like Reggie Nathaniel Miller. Salute to that boy, but step it up, man. He been embarrassing us.
What do you think about the resurgence of Geno? Like, you saw him here.
I wasn't here for that, but
you was one of the people who wrote his ass off. I know.
Yeah, you wrote him. You wrote to him for sure.
I was a freshman in college when that was going on. That had nothing to do with me.
He did not write you back.
He did write. Why is he so good right now? Like, what is he doing that is better than the last 9 years he's put on tape?
Well, I think. All right, well, let's go back to when he was like a draft prospect at West Virginia. I know, like the 2013 draft class, it was kind of like what the draft class we just had this past year. In terms of quarterback talent, E.J. Manning was the only one that went in the first round that year, and then Geno Smith was a second-round prospect. But for like the vast majority of Geno's season, he was seen as a first-round prospect, and then I think he went like in the top 40 of the draft that he was in. So it's never like he was a guy that was viewed without talent, but he got drafted to like the worst possible team at the worst possible time.
Yeah.
Like, so you have the Jets, and they're just coming off of like all the success that they've had with Rex Ryan and Mark Sanchez in that defense, and Geno comes in as like the guy who has the talent, as he's showing this year, to be the next guy. But I think as a rookie, it was kind of shaky, and then after that. He got clocked in the face.
I totally forgot about by the way.
He got injured though because he was playing.
He was playing pretty well. He was playing. He had some good games. Yeah.
I had totally forgotten that had happened.
Yeah,
they mentioned it one day. And I was like, oh shit, that's right. He did. Somebody did like just snap on him.
He got his jaw broke, and that was basically the end of his time with the Jets. And then if you remember, he was the backup for the Giants for a couple years, and Ben McAdoo actually wanted to bench Eli Manning for Geno Smith.
Yep.
And then
That's
there was some.
right. Everybody was like, what are you talking about?
And then there was some politics going on. Eli got to ride out his career the way he wanted to. So, there have been times when Geno has almost gotten chances. And I think what's interesting about his career, like if you go back and you look at what he did with the Jets, his numbers weren't really bad enough for him to suggest he shouldn't get a chance again.
Right.
It was just got clocked in the face.
Like nobody breaks their jaw in a locker room fight and ends up being good.
It didn't work out for him. I think there were some people who didn't like him too, but I think he's showing this year he's always been a guy that's had the talent, and now he's been sitting on the bench for the past decade for the most part. So he's been able to show off what he's learned, and I think it's cool that you're not just getting, he's keeping us afloat. Like he's actually out there making plays, and beyond being comeback player of the year,
locked for sure.
Yeah, he's put himself in the MVP candidacy, which is absolutely insane.
Has, bro.
Yeah.
He really has. And can you hold up?
He has
MVP conversation.
It's Josh Allen, Mahomes, Jalen Hurts for sure.
Yeah, and
then
Geno's like a dark horse.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
Geno
willing to
4th,
bet,
5th, 6th.
I'm willing to bet anything in the world. Geno Smith will not be the damn MVP.
I don't think he will either.
But it's the consideration, bro.
He's
Right.
not considered.
Okay. In your personal record book.
I'm breaking news right now.
Damn,
Geno Smith
okay.
is not considered to be an MVP candidate.
I'm gonna check
In the
DraftKings to
rooms
see where he's at.
I'm hearing things.
You're hearing things from people?
You hearing
In the rooms.
things?
I didn't talk to anybody. I don't know anything. But I'm hearing things, and he is not in the conversation.
Why is that?
He's just not in the conversation. I don't know why. I don't make the.
You don't make the rules. You're just telling us what
Well,
it
we
is.
can put him in the conversation.
We could, yeah. We can start right
We're
here.
tastemakers.
When Adam Schefter tweets something, do you be like, "How you know?"
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. And there's a long record book. Yeah, there's a long record book of that happening. Assault. Thank you, Mr. Editor.
Yeah.
We got a bunch of them actually.
Yeah, I think that a lot, actually. Most of the times when I see Adam says, how do you know that shit?
Damn it.
Gotcha. Checkmate on that one. But why is it like we saw Russ and the whole narrative was let Russ cook. The Seahawks offensive coaching staff is holding him back. And then we see Geno come in and look better than Russ did for the last 3 or 4 years. Why is that changing? Then we see Russell in Denver looking like shit. Is it just coaching? Is it coachability? What is it?
It's style of play. Okay, here's the thing with Russell Wilson. I feel like the whole. First of all, I think Russell Wilson's been a great quarterback, but he has his flaws, right? And I think Pete Carroll's even talked about it. Off to the side a little bit, where he'll say stuff in the offseason basically, we need to figure out how to replicate the deep ball because Russ is basically one of the best deep ball throwers we've ever seen. But he's never been a guy that's going to try to attack the middle of the field. I don't know if it's because he can't see it or if that's just not what he does. But you hear people talk about, you need to build an offense around Russ. He's only going to play one way. So, you can build the offense however you want. But at the end of the day, Russ is going to scramble. He's going to take his deep shots, and that's really about all you can do. And it worked for a long time in Seattle. Even worked for the most part last year until he got hurt. But I think what Geno does is he it's weird to say this, because Russell Wilson has been an MVP caliber quarterback, and Geno Smith has been a backup for the last decade. But in some ways, Geno gives you more options as a passing offense. We have the middle of the field.
He's going to attack all 3 levels, right?
Right. He's going to attack all 3 levels. He's going to attack the middle of the field, stuff where Russell wasn't. And what worked for Russell, he's you literally have one of the best deep ball throwers in NFL history, throwing to Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf, and then with his own playmaking ability, that's a guy who can go to the Pro Bowl every year. But it's weird to say this about Geno Smith versus Russell Wilson. It still feels weird, but yeah, Geno gives you a little bit more options as a passer, and I guess him sitting on the bench for the past 8 years has kind of helped him see the field a little bit better. I don't know.
And that's to me the craziest storyline of the entire season. A guy that can sit on the bench for that long, come out and play that well, and it's a sustainable thing. They're atop the NFC West, and they're gonna win that division. The Niners, okay, let's see what happens, but the Rams are a dumpster fire.
Oh yeah.
The Cardinals. Can we talk about Kliff Kingsbury for a second? Are you part of the
Get him out of here?
Yeah, the fake sharp Kliff Kingsbury.
Dude, it's so crazy because I remember when Kliff got hired, I interviewed all these Big 12 coaches. I talked to Sonny Dykes. I talked to Hal Mummy. I tried to get Dana Holgorsen on the phone, but he ended up curving me at the last second. But basically, all these guys who helped start the air raid system,
right?
And they were just breaking down here's how Kliff's offense is actually going to work in the NFL. It's a little bit more complex than what we were running back in the day. And for a while, it worked. Like, because we've had stretches where even just last year, like the Cardinals started off 8-0.
Yeah, they look really good.
The offense was hitting on all cylinders, and I don't know, like for whatever reason, it's just gotten stale. It's hard to pinpoint like one thing that's exactly wrong, and more importantly, it's hard to pinpoint one thing that's wrong that's like immediately fixable, because Kyler got extension, Kliff got extension, Steve Keim got an extension.
All the major pieces are already getting freed up.
Right. So, you know, like if the owner wants to, the head coach and GM, like they're not attached to the salary cap. So if the owner wants to, he could fire them and just say, all right, well, we're done here. I'm going to eat that, and then we'll hire someone else. But Kyler, you're definitely stuck with for the next 5 years, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing, because we've seen him play well for long stretches of time. But right now, it's not clicking for whatever reason. Like it seems like they've run out of ideas on offense. I don't know why.
People that are grinding the tape tell me that it went from an air raid offense to the horizontal raid. Yes, because all he's doing is throwing stuff short, line of scrimmage, short A-dot stuff. Yeah. I feel like his issue too is personnel-wise, he doesn't put people in positions to win, right? Like you have Rondale Moore, who's 5'7", and you have him playing out wide. Like that's not his skill set. Put him in the slot. Obviously, they just traded for Robbie Anderson, but like last year, I thought that they were the best team in the NFC for those first 8 games. Kyler gets hurt, DeAndre Hopkins gets hurt, and all that, and now it just looks like they have nothing.
Yeah, it's weird because I feel like the Cardinals are kind of another team. Like when I look at the individual players, I'm like, most of these guys are pretty talented.
Yeah, you're like this is it.
Kyler Murray, James Conner, DeAndre Hopkins, like Rondale Moore, for what he's good at, he's really good at the short and underneath stuff and after the catch. Robbie Anderson, like these are guys that have had a lot of success at points in their NFL career, but when you put it all together, it's not working. So to me, that has to come back to coaching. Just in the same way the Giants were, where, you know, I know that they have Saquon Barkley and all these other good guys, but it's not working for whatever reason. And the same thing with the Cardinals. But, you know, it's an interesting thing because a lot of NFL owners, they're not willing to just eat the money on a contract fresh off his extension. So I don't know what they're going to do, but it's awful to see what they've turned that offense into.
It's crazy. Moving over to the AFC, what's the biggest storyline for the last 9 weeks in the AFC?
Wow.
I'll give you a couple to choose from.
All right, give me a couple to choose from.
What's the biggest story of the last 9 weeks?
No.
Now.
No, because no.
What's today?
We got the Dolphins. We've got the Bengals-ish struggles. We got the Bills. We've got the Ravens. We've got the Chiefs. No Tyreek Hill. Like, what team stood out from the biggest?
I guess the biggest story to me is, you know, we get into the situations where, like, is player A going to be worse without player B or amazing. And then you find out this year with, like, Mahomes and Tyreek, oh, no, they're both just fucking amazing at football. I never would have guessed that Tyreek Hill would be having easily the best season of his career this year. I mean, he's on pace to...
in NFL history almost.
Right, yeah. He's on pace to smash the receiving yards record. I know that there's 17 games, but he's still... like, he's on pace to clear it by almost 100 yards. So I don't really see why anyone should downplay that. Like if he does end up breaking the single season record, but then Mahomes has kind of entered this like Peyton Manning sphere, I would say, where as long as he's out there, you probably have a pretty good chance of winning. Yeah. I think that's where the Chiefs are, because there was a huge target vacuum when Tyreek Hill left. You know, I think he got targeted almost 200 times last year, which ends up to be like, you know, over a third of your pass, or almost a third of your pass attempts for the season. So basically, a bunch of guys are filling in that role, and the production really hasn't dropped off, just from a whole passing game standpoint. So that's crazy. It still blows my mind that, like, I started this bit on Twitter where I was saying Patrick Mahomes is the most underrated player in the league. And that's just because I think he's just, like, unquestionably the best quarterback in football. So I think you're seeing that he's kind of hit this plane where as long as he's on the field, they're probably going to score a lot of points and win games. And Tyreek Hill has been able to prove on his end that he's, like, the most explosive weapon in all of football, and probably the best receiver in football too.
It almost feels like Patrick is playing better as a quarterback without Tyreek Hill. And I said that on the show, and people were like, that's crazy. Like, what are you talking about? I'm like, no, man, because he was reliant so heavily on that deep ball throw, and then they put two safeties high, and they kind of shut down. So I had to have him run intermediate routes with Tyreek and stuff. But now without that super long ball threat, I know MVS is there, but like, whatever.
Not the same.
Not the same. But he's using his eyes more. He's almost like trusting the offense more instead of trusting a singular person, right? So for when you say like, oh, he's underrated, it's like, man, he's using skill sets and things that we haven't seen him do, and he's like evolving his game without the best perimeter weapon in the league.
Yeah, I saw him, and he was like number 8 on the NFL top 100. I was like, that's not right.
It's like, what are we doing?
I was like,
here?
it's him and Aaron Donald at the top. Those are your 1-2 to me, and then beyond that, don't really care because those are the best.
Most intriguing team outside of the Chiefs and Bills for you in the AFC?
I think the Titans are intriguing.
Why? Hold on. Why?
No. Because I don't know if this is even a compliment. It's just intriguing and like, how are you guys still here?
Yes.
Okay. Let's go back to the game they played on Sunday night versus Kansas City with Malik Willis.
Keep an eye on him, by the way. There's something about Malik Willis.
What does that mean?
That you just got to keep an eye on him, right?
No.
What do you mean?
Talking about?
What do you mean? You got to keep an eye on Malik Willis, bro.
The most intriguing team is the Tennessee Titans.
No. Outside of the Chiefs and Bills.
I don't give a damn. The Titans jerseys are so lame. I would never be interested in them.
You don't like the powder blue?
But they got goddamn Ryan Tannehill back there slanging, and Malik Willis had what? How many completions? 3 or 4?
5, I think.
Yeah.
5?
I think we went like 5 for 16.
Like 5. I was 1 out.
Yeah, it was like 5 for 16. Yeah.
Get the Titans, salute to y'all, but get the hell out of here.
You don't like Derrick Henry?
He need to get traded, man. You gonna waste your life and you gonna waste yourself in Tennessee.
He's playing a lot of playoff games.
Yeah. How many Super Bowl rings you got?
0.
Okay, but they were the number 1 seed last year.
Put Derrick Henry rings in the box. And put Michael Jordan rings in the box.
Yeah, who's got more?
Rings.
Well, he's got a bunch of that in Alabama.
-6.
Yeah.
-6.
He's got a Heisman Trophy too.
That awards don't matter. How many Super Bowls you got?
0.
Look, man. Salute to the Titans. Salute to Derrick Henry. But boy, you gonna waste your whole horsepower in Tennessee. And good, you getting your money though. So hey,
What?
Tennessee Titans, stop running Derrick Henry in the goddamn ground.
I mean, I actually kind of agree with that.
That's
They
what
need
I'm
to
saying.
preserve him a little bit.
I come in and say the realest shit in the world. Y'all don't. Y'all get confused.
No. You're right.
The Tennessee Titans jerseys are whack. They be
Okay.
running Derrick Henry in the goddamn ground.
Okay.
Malik Williams completed how many?
5, but that's not his fault though.
And that
Y'all
concludes
over
our
baffled.
Tennessee Titans coverage.
And y'all baffled.
Not baffled. You broke it down better than any of us. could.
Okay, so yeah, that's
Get
it.
them out of here.
There's nothing to say.
Jaguars. What do you think about them?
Bro, they're sneaky good.
I agree.
People laugh at me.
I agree.
There is an audible laughter every time somebody says somebody smart says the Jacksonville Jaguars are somewhat decent.
They
And
are.
people are like, huh, interesting. I say it, people laugh in the back. Fucking incredible.
I'm telling you.
Underlying metrics are what?
The next year, the play is to bet on the over for the Jaguars.
For sure.
Because they're losing all these close games, bro. Like, when you look, it's weird. Like, when you look at some of the more advanced metrics, like, they usually come out, like, charting pretty well.
Yes.
And when you watch them play, it's not
there. It's there.
But they Jaguar it up.
Bro, they're just getting rid of the Urban Meyer.
Right,
They needed a
right.
whole year. This year,
Right.
or Doug Peterson needed to get all the Urban Meyer sludge out of the facility, bro. So it was like
They're
gonna do a
excited
lot of
about
shit
next year.
But next year,
Next year is the year. For them.
I mean, that team is going to be nice, bro.
You
And
look at
don't try and tell
yeah.
me something different.
Bro, y'all talking about the Tennessee Titans and the Jacksonville Jaguars. We in New York.
we already talked about the Giants and the Jets.
Yeah, we talked about the Giants and Jets.
Bruh, I don't give a damn. To put the Tennessee Titans on TV playing the Jacksonville Jaguars. Hey, y'all gonna watch it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's football.
Yeah.
Get the fuck up out of here.
Does a
You can
bear
put
shit in
that
the
game-
woods? Like,
You can put that game on in July, and I will not watch that game.
oh, that's crazy.
You feel me?
No, that's a lie.
That's-
a
that-
lie.
you know that's
Yeah,
crazy.
That's
It's
crazy.
not crazy at all.
All right, July, I'm going to text
Alright,
you
well,
again and be like, yo, you want Jags Titans today? And you'd be like, hell yeah.
What team do you want to talk about?
The football, I mean, y'all the football geniuses. You feel me? I'm just.
But you got something negative to say
Yeah,
after
yeah,
every
yeah,
single
yeah.
team we talk
I
about.
got something negative to say about the Titans and the Jaguars.
All right, how about Lamar?
Here we are. Now we back.
All right.
Okay.
Pay that man.
Pay him, right?
You feel me?
Yeah,
Pay that
they
man
should pay
now.
him.
Stat. Because if he get hurt this year, what happens?
They're gonna pay him.
Yeah, I mean, but
think
not as
so?
much as
Yeah.
not as much as he would have made.
but still a lot.
Still a lot, right?
Yeah.
What was the offer?
not
It was
what's going on.
$250, right?
That's the interesting thing about the Lamar stuff is nothing's really come out about the only concrete thing that's come out is that he wants something close to a fully guaranteed contract,
Which you should get.
Right? Because
Everybody should. Realistically, if we're talking serious, everybody in the NFL should get a guaranteed contract.
Yeah.
But that's another story for another day.
But like, you know, if I'm Lamar Jackson and I'm looking at Deshaun Watson, I'm like, I can do that shit. Give me my full guaranteed contract too.
I can do that shit, and I haven't done that shit.
Right.
Like, let's be serious here.
Exactly.
Right. So I mean, they're gonna have to pay him eventually. I think like. He has so much leverage over them because you see how important he is to the offense all the time. So even if they get into a situation where they hit him with the franchise tag, that doesn't mean anything because if he doesn't show up, their season's over.
All right. What do they put Snoop Huntley in?
Right.
Like,
He's at the point like for himself financially where if he wanted to, he could sit out a whole season. But they need to pay him just because he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. The entire offense is built around him, and it's like such a unique style of offense that he's kind of the only quarterback that can function in the role. Like maybe Josh Allen could do it too, but the way that Lamar plays, he's one of one. You know, it's like that Michael Vick, Cam Newton type of gravitational force. And when you have that, you don't just let it go. And he's only like 25 years old too, so it's like barely older than Kenny Pickett.
and we talk about exactly that, and we talk about Joe Burrow, and it's like, oh, who would you rather have, Joe Burrow or Lamar? And it's
Lamar.
like, Joe Burrow's, I think, older than Lamar. And it's like, you think about those things, and it's crazy. But one thing about
Joe Shiesty's great too.
I love Joe Shiesty.
He's a great player.
I love Joe Shiesty, but they got to shore up that offensive line. Like, he was getting killed.
They whiffed bad on the
Lyle Collins.
That was the thing with Lyle. Like, I wasn't that high on that trade because on that sign. I mean, because if you go back and watch him last year, he wasn't very good.
Wasn't that good?
Like they needed to make that Tyler Smith pick, regardless whether he stayed or not, because they needed to find a plan after him. But I think he's been a lot worse than they expected. And then even guys like Jonah Williams is kind of taking a step back. But it's crazy to see. You know, they invested what? They signed Lyle Collins, Alex Kappa on the first and the free agency this year, and they still can't block anybody. But
they let up,
Joe Mixon.
It was like 30 sacks in the first 5 games, and I was like, it was like 6 sacks a game. I'm like, how? Like this team was supposed to be so much better than what it was, and it's just not there. Yeah. So, all right, we've gone through both conferences, previewing now this next like 8-ish games or so. Who do you see who are the teams that you see? Okay, these teams for sure. We haven't even talked about Philly yet. Should we talk about Philly for a second?
Sure.
Like 8-0.
No one circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills.
Well, yeah,
so
them too.
Case Keenum.
You think he's gonna play?
I mean, it ain't looking like.
I don't think it doesn't look like Josh is going to play.
He shouldn't play. If it's a question.
That hit was tough. Like him throwing the ball back and that UCL Tommy John area situation.
And then the crazy thing, he got hurt and he still ripped that ball 70 yards down the field.
Bro, I think somebody told me it was the longest pass air yard wise in the NFL this season. Dude, it's 75 yards on a dime. It hit Gabe Davis in the chest
after he got hurt.
After he tore his UCL or whatever.
Damn.
All right, looking forward. Who are the teams you think are going to make the most noise in the playoffs, and who's your Super Bowl pick?
Wow, Super Bowl pick. I mean, look, if the Bills can get Josh Allen back to like close to 100%, because I don't really know how this is going to play out. If it's going to be something that lingers for a while, because he's also I get worried about him sometimes because he's someone that throws the ball so hard, like just physically. Like how long can you keep doing that? But
because we saw Stafford, like it's caught up to him. Like, he's got that elbow issue, too, and obviously their offensive line is bad, but, like, he's just not throwing the ball at the same kind of zip either. Yeah,
I like I still like Buffalo on the AFC side.
Over the Chiefs?
I think I think Buffalo's defense is real good. I know last week wasn't their best, but even then they still held the Jets like 20-something points. So that's still one of the best defenses in the league, and if you can get Josh Allen back up to 100% before the end of the season, I still feel like that's a team that should be expecting to go on a run. Them and the Chiefs. Like it's the new rivalry that we have.
Yeah, it's Colts, Patriots,
right.
Whatever.
It's Bills, Chiefs now. So those are the two teams on the AFC side, and then obviously Philly has to be number one for NFC purposes. But then beyond that, I mean, I think there's a pretty compelling case for Dallas and San Francisco as well.
Really?
Yeah. I know
we didn't talk about Dallas at all. So
I mean, it's the defense. Dan Quinn, he's kind of started to change
Your
his
boy, by the
philosophy.
way.
Yeah, it's my boy. And look, I got the interview after he was fired by the Falcons. So yeah, it's my boy. I think when you look at what Dan has done, he's kind of changed his offense or his defense a little bit from his time in Seattle and Atlanta, where you're not just like sitting around playing cover 1 and cover 3 all day. You're kind of mixing it a little bit more, and then it helps to have like new age Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah, right.
Rushing
that helps a lot.
off the edge for you,
And a decent corner too.
Yeah,
that helps.
Yeah. So like really, like for the Cowboys, it was just the plan was hold on for dear life while Cooper Rush is in there. Well, I think they went 4-1
Yep.
while Cooper was in there, and then hope that when Dak gets back, you start scoring points again, and that's exactly what's happened for them. So if they can kind of keep that up with, a 30-point per game offense and like a 15, 17-point per game defense, I don't see how they wouldn't be Super Bowl contenders by the end of the year. And I think that the fact that this Dallas team in its state can be Super Bowl contenders, and even the 49ers too, kind of goes to show the NFC is kind of crap this year. For sure. Kind of crap. I don't think any of those teams are better than the Bills or the Chiefs. So I think
Philly has the longest possibilities like to do something with the Bills and the Chiefs, just because their line play is so good. Like that, especially that trade for Robert Quinn was like massive, just putting him over the top defensive line wise. But like it feels like at all 3 levels, Philly's defense is legit, and then we already know their offense. Like who's gonna stop AJ Brown anywhere? Like dude's like Megatron.
Yeah, I guess for Philly and for Philly fans and for Jalen Hurts himself, like the next step is, all right, but when we get to the playoffs, can I play better than I did last year? Which
is horrible.
Yeah, shouldn't be that hard. I tend to think that this team is set up well for him specifically to have like a really strong run in the playoffs. I think what's so impressive about this Eagles team is, do you remember like 2 years ago there was the game where they benched Jalen Hurts for Nate Sudfeld?
Yes.
And now we're talking about them as like the best team in the NFL.
And Jalen Hurts an MVP candidate.
Right. It almost makes you.
We let Buddy off the hook. The coach who coached Jaguars down.
Peterson.
We let him off the hook for that, because that smelled like a tank, bro.
It did smell like a tank.
Yeah.
Because they had a chance to win.
It did smell like a tank.
We let him off the hook, man.
Yeah, it smelled like a tank. But now it almost makes you think like, rethink the timing on rebuilds, like how fast the Eagles were able to do that, because they had one Super Bowl in 2017. They kind of cratered out by like 2019, 2020, and here they are right back again at the top of the sport. So shout out to Howie Roseman. Like,
yeah, dude, he's come up big time. That trade for Chauncey Gardner-Johnson was huge too.
Yeah,
like,
and they signed Bradbury.
People.
Yeah.
Like he's been fleecing people all left and right. Charles, thanks for letting us hang out at your crib.
Yep.
First off, let everybody know where they can find you, how they can read your stuff, listen to your stuff, all that good stuff.
Find me on Yahoo NFL. I do You Pot to Win the Game with Charles Robinson and Jory Epstein once a week, and my podcast, The Exempt List, is going to be back.
Let's go.
Relatively soon. I still don't have a full date on it.
Rebranding.
It's coming back. Got to rebrand the whole thing. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for stopping by,
That's
guys.
fire, bro. Thank you so much for letting us in, and check out the stuff.